You know, Mr. Nigam, that's the thing. One can't cherry pick and then try and set a narrative for the top court of the country, because what you're doing is deriding the top court of its reputation. If you're going to celebrate, you know, the Ram Mandir verdict, the demonetization verdict, if you're going to celebrate all of that, then you've got to take this as well in stride, sir.
No, you are right. Absolutely. Therefore, I will go case by case basis. If I have to criticize Supreme Court, if I have to criticize Collegium, I will, to the best of my ability. And they must listen to it also. They are not above board. They are not above law. They are equally below the law as we all are.
But Mr. Nigam, to say that you're opening doors to terrorists, but not banning a film or hearing that petition, you know, if you're going to get, you know, because we keep talking about this fake narrative that we are trying to whip up. This is as fake a narrative that you're trying to whip up, and it's dangerous for the top court of the country.
Let me answer that. As I said, nobody is above the law, and
so
criticism will come.
Even the topmost terrorist in the country or the world deserves to be heard. That's what justice system is in this country.
See, what I am saying, if you can open the court at night, you can similarly hear the ban also. So what I am saying, these comparisons will always be there. Case by case basis, these comparisons will always be there. Everybody is human. Even Supreme Court justices are human. They are humans, have a tendency to err also. Therefore, I am saying, I am confining myself to this specific case, saying that both the petitions should have been heard together. That will give a, idea to the people that justice has been done, and it is appearing to have been done. These two things are very important.
But you know, sir, but the fact is, what the editorial says is something very different and could actually be a little sinister. And why I say that is because you're actually trying to mock the Supreme Court by saying that it's readily being used as a tool by anti-India forces because it didn't hear the petition. That it is funded by the taxpayers' money and it needs to work for the betterment of the country. No, sir, that's not the job of the Supreme Court.
See, that's Panchajan's view. That's Panchajan's view, which you should have a Panchajan's person out here to answer that question. But so far as I am concerned, I am very, very clear on the subject that if these two petitions were there, justice would have been done if the two petitions were heard together.
Okay, Mr. Nigam, because you took a slightly different, then I apologize because you took a very different turn in the beginning of this debate. Yeah. I understand what you're saying right now and it's acceptable, but Sanjay Hegde, by using language as this and actually injecting it into, a popular narrative, are we setting a very dangerous precedent?
Of course it is setting a dangerous precedent, but it has not been unknown. In the 70s and all that, the leftists said equally worse things. They said that they were tools of imperialism. But irrespective of what anybody says, men and women of law who are sworn constitutionally to do justice without fear or favor will go ahead and do their job. And this equivalence between seeking a ban and quashing the ban is false, because imposing a ban is the job of the government. The court does not ban things. Now, if the government tries a ban, not by the normal route, but through circuitous routes, the challenge the court can hear. So there is a false equivalence in this entire argument.
What is the legal purview of this? Can the court actually move contempt in this case?
Well, the court has often taken...
Mr. Hegde, I've lost you. We're going to try and correct the audio line, but we're taking closing comments. I'll come back to you. Tehseen, you wanted to make a closing comment? Go ahead.
Two things. I think the court has always, to your question, can it take contempt? It can, but the court has always taken a very, very liberal view. And that is what's been outstanding about Indian courts, particularly the Indian Supreme Court. It's always taken a very, very liberal view. Therefore, the Indian Supreme Court has upheld a maxim that no matter how heinous a crime you're accused of, you will get punishment until the last mile. So even when the President of India convicts you and says you need to be hanged until death, the Supreme Court will give you one last chance, because Article 21, the right to life, is the paramount mother of all rights and liberty that has been given to us. Of all our fundamental rights, Article 21 is the most important. Now, for a court that's protecting Article 21, you have a ragtag magazine, and I say this with responsibility, coming out and comparing life to a documentary, which is not the court's job to ban, but the government's job to ban. Can you believe how intellectually bankrupt the arguments are of the present government supporters?
Okay, Mr. Nigam, final comments, sir. Go ahead.
In fact, nobody is denying the process of court, due process of court. Supreme Court has the powers and ultimately they will pass judgments. But then there are issues like judges who have made statements in public, a particular view that they have taken in public, and then sitting over and hearing the same judgments. That is the dichotomy I wish to point out. These are the issues that we have with Supreme Court. It is, and they have to, and Supreme Court, it's not that Supreme Court is also improving day by day. So this is an evolutionary process. And as the times are changing, Supreme Court is also adapting so far as the process and the law is concerned. And the short point again I will make, justice, it must appear that justice is being done. That is the important aspect of our legal jurisprudence. And that is the point that I was making.
All right, okay. But very quick comment, Mr. Hegde, I wanted to ask you that question. Can the court actually step in and take contempt of this editorial?
It can do it, but normally it doesn't. The Attorney General is the guardian of contempt. If somebody knows the Attorney General, it would be interesting to see what he says.